school kids.
Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul gave COVID rates and CDC guidance as the reason when announcing Sunday, but is leaving it up to municipalities to decide their own timetable. New York City's mayor says the school mask mandate can be lifted next Monday if COVID numbers remain low. The milestone, 2 years in the making, comes as much of the country relaxes public health orders. Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Massachusetts, and others recently made similar adjustments to ease restrictions for schools. California, Oregon, and Washington lift their school mask mandate March 12th. Julie Walker, New York.
The International Paralympic Committee says Russians and athletes from Belarus at the Winter Paralympics in Beijing will compete as neutral athletes because of their country's roles in the war in Ukraine. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I know what you're expecting to hear right now, the announcement of today's KSVIP. Well, I don't have a name for today, and I need your help. If you know someone who needs to be recognized for being a very special person, call right now, 746-2751. Ask for Tana and schedule a KSVIP. Your special someone will be recognized at this time all day long on their day, and they'll receive a flower courtesy of Lovebud Floral in Artesia. So call today and schedule your KSVIP.
Just too white and nerdy. Can't you see I'm white and nerdy? Look at me, I'm white and nerdy. I wanna roll with the gangsters, but so far they all think I'm too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. I'm just too white and nerdy. Really white and nerdy. My class there at MIT. Got skills, I'm a champion at D&D.
Well, hey, good morning, and welcome to the Good Morning Artesia radio show as we get rolling into Wednesday, March 2nd. We had a municipal election yesterday, and some folks turned out to vote, and decisions were made, and we know we're going to have a new mayor in Artesia. Of course, we knew that going into the election, as Ray Miller did not run for re-election, so we knew somebody was going to be the winner and be the new mayor, and so we knew that. We had 3 contested races for city council, so we knew, because of who was running for mayor and who was not running for councilor, that we'd have a couple of new city councilors, and we do have 2 new city councilors. We also knew that we had a couple of incumbents that were running for re-election. One was running unopposed, one was running with a competitor. So the 2 incumbent city councilors who were up for election won re-election. We know who the 2 new counselors are from Districts 3 and 4. And we know who the new mayor is going to be. So with 45% of the vote in a five-way race, Jonathan A. Henry won the mayor's race. 609 votes out of the 1,361 votes that were cast in the election yesterday. Behind John, it was a close race between Jeff Yahtzee and Luis Flores. Yahtzee had 335 votes. Flores had 287 votes. So 25% of the vote went to Yahtzee and 21% went to Flores. And then you had Terry Hill with 83 votes, 6% of the vote, and Alan Kent Bratcher with 47 votes, and that was 3% of the vote total in the election yesterday. District 4 was between Richard Townley and Aubrey Hobson, and again, that is a new counselor, as the counselor in that spot ran for mayor, I believe, and it was Richard Townley. 80% of the votes cast, 294 votes. Aubrey Hobson had 20% of the votes cast, got 75 votes. In District 3, there were 3 candidates that chose to run for that seat. And again, a new counselor in District 3. And Wade Nelson, 71% of the vote for Wade. He got 334 votes. Kimberly Ann Medley, 19% of the vote total, 91 votes. And Tommy D. Bales received 10% of the vote in District 3 and got 45 votes. Now, District 2 is where you had one of the incumbents, George Mullen, and George got 72% of the vote in District 2. George got 179 votes, and the challenger there was Jeremy Wayne Kern. Jeremy had 28% of the vote. He got 70 votes in that race. Raul Rodriguez ran for re-election. He did not have any opposition on the ballot, and 202 people voted because they had the opportunity to do so. And so Raul will continue to serve in District 1. So, again, the 4 seats on the council, 2 of which we knew we were going to have new councilors, 2 of which were incumbents. One of the incumbents did not have any opposition. One of the incumbents did win with 72% of the vote. So Raul Rodriguez will stay on the council. George Mullen stays on the council. Wade Nelson joins the council from District 3. Richard Townley joins the council from District 4. And then at the head of the circle there, the new mayor in Artesia is going to be John Henry, who got 45% of the vote. The next 2 vote getters, Luis Flores and Jeff Yahtzee, got combined 46% of the vote, and then the last 9% of the vote, Terry Hill got 6%, and Kent Bratcher got 3%. I tell you, the interesting race last night, and obviously all these races were interesting, and we saw the results of that election, but the city of Roswell, probably one of the most contested races in all of the municipal races. And I think there were, 26 races that were held across the state of New Mexico yesterday. Mayor of Roswell, and that one with 49 of 49 precincts fully reporting in the city of Roswell is less than a 100-vote difference between Tim Jennings and Dennis Kintai. Matter of fact, the difference is 57 votes. There is a 57-vote difference between Jennings and Kintai. Jennings, 2,420 votes, 44% of the vote total in Roswell. And then Dennis Kintai, the incumbent mayor there, 2,363 votes. And the other 2 candidates that were running, Guy Malone got 10% of the vote, 528 votes, and Eva Tellez got 203 votes, 4% of the vote in Roswell. So There's a 57-vote difference now between Tim Jennings and Dennis Kintai, and it'll be interesting to see today what Kintai decides to do with it being that close, a 57-vote difference. Now, is that enough of a vote difference to motivate any kind of a recount or any kind of consideration of a recount or challenging any of that? Obviously that's going to be up to the Kintai folks to decide if that's close enough for that type of situation there. But it turned out to be really close there. In Roswell, they also had some council races, and Christina Arnold, by about 87 votes, won in Ward 1. In Ward 2 up in Roswell, 59% of the vote was for Juliana Halverson. In Ward 3, Ed Hildebrand, 59% of the vote over Judy Stubbs. Ward 4, where they had 5 different candidates in Roswell, 27% of the vote went to Robert B. Korn. And then in Ward 3, they had an uncontested race. Ward 5, Angela Moore did not have any opposition there. So Roswell, that's going to be really interesting to see what Kintai decides to do there. He's a two-time mayor in Roswell, and it looks like at the present time he has lost by 57 votes in Roswell. So that's a toughie there. Anyway, here in Artesia, as we said earlier, the new mayor for the city of Artesia is going to be John Henry, as he picked up 45% of the vote and will be the new mayor in Artesia. What kind of weather are we looking at today, Steve?
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Our fair trend continues over the next couple of days, and pretty mild. Will be around 70 to 75 today, and plenty of sunshine and not too windy. It'll be clear for the overnight hours, mid-30s, and then we're in the mid-70s with more clouds coming in on Thursday as low pressure starts to move into our area, and a little more gusty, low 80s and sunny Friday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
All right, thank you, Steve, very much. Right now we are sitting at 33 degrees with mostly sunny skies in Artesia. Our humidity is at 37%. The dew point is 9 degrees. Winds are northwest at 6. Pressure's at 30.22 and on the rise. Our air quality index is 46. We have good air quality. Sunset will be at 5:55 this afternoon. Sunrise will be at 6:22 in the morning. We were looking this up the other day. I think, don't we change time next weekend? I think we spring forward next weekend. So I guess we get the extra light at the end of the day, and it gets a little darker in the morning again. So that's what's going to be coming up. That's next weekend. Carlsbad, sunny and 37, 36 in Roswell, 41 in Hobbs, 38 in Albuquerque, 37 in Santa Fe, 35 in Cloudcroft, 37 in Ruidoso, 42 in Las Cruces, 24 in Farmington, 26 at Red River, 36 in Clovis, and over there in Lubbock, Texas, partly cloudy and 42, mostly sunny, 33 in Artesia. Lunch menus today. We've got in the Artesia schools today, PB and jelly sandwich for breakfast, chicken tenders with tater tots, baby carrots, and diced peaches for lunch today. At the Artesia Senior Meal Site today, fried chicken, baked beans, potato salad, biscuit, and a cookie at the Senior Meal Site. At the Artesia Senior Center today, it'll be exercise video at 8:15. Tops Club will be meeting at 9 o'clock. Jewelry classes at 9:30. Wood burning is at 1 o'clock. Bridge at 1 o'clock. Train dominoes at 1 o'clock. Sewing at 1:30. And the exercise video is at 4. It is the first Wednesday of the month, so the Advisory Council meets today at 9 o'clock at the Artesia Senior Center. At the library today, it'll be baby time at 10 a.m. this morning. And birthdays today, on this March 2nd, we have Matthew Stevens and Jesus Hernandez, who are celebrating birthdays today. Happy birthday to you from all of us at KSVP. We're going to talk some Lady Bulldog basketball coming up next.
The 2022 Bulldog baseball season is about to get underway, and we're kicking it off in grand fashion with the Black Gold Slugfest March 3rd through the 5th in Hobbs. The round-robin tournament kicks off Thursday as the Bulldogs take on Pewaukee at 4:30 p.m. Joby Hodling has your coverage. Friday at 2:30, the Bulldogs take on Santa Fe, and Saturday it's Artesia versus Cleveland, with Gene Dow covering the action. Catch all the action on KSVP AM and FM and at KSVPTV.com. Southeastern New Mexico's Sports Authority.
The story is told of a man and a wife riding a tandem bicycle built for two up a steep hill. After much effort, they finally made it to the top of the hill. The front rider said, "That was a tough ride," to which the second rider replied, "It sure was, and if I hadn't kept on the brake, we might have slipped backwards." Isn't that about how it feels like sometimes? Teamwork is all about communication. When we fail to properly communicate, there's a breakdown in the relationship and it becomes harder to get where we desire to be. The Bible says in the book of Colossians 4 and verse number 6, "Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man." Hi, this is Pastor Jason Perry from New Hope Baptist Church. You may be having a rough time with your teenager getting up the hill, or maybe even your spouse. It's amazing how smoother the ride is when you have great communication. Whatever the struggle is in your relationship today, talking with each other and with the Heavenly Father can and will make a difference. The hill will still be hard to climb, but it will be much easier with the brakes off. Come find out how God wants to communicate to you in ways to strengthen your family at New Hope Baptist Church at 1711 West Center Avenue in the heart of Artesia, where there is new hope for a new you.
You've changed thousands of diapers, cut off hundreds of crusts, played hours of peekaboo and duck, duck, goose. But you'd do anything for your kids. That's why it's so important to protect them with life insurance from State Farm. State Farm agent Sandy Stockton will help make it easy and affordable to help you protect your family, no matter what the future holds. Because for the people you'd do anything for, life insurance could mean everything. Call State Farm agent Sandy Stockton in Artesia today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
West is the recovery resource for your small business. Tap into the Hobbs Business Center for services including consulting, training, loans, and much more. West is committed to helping transform the lives of entrepreneurs and business owners by creating a pathway to success. Our role is to educate, encourage, and inspire our clients to achieve their business goals. We offer training in both English and Spanish. Visit WESST.org to learn more. Funded in part through a cooperative agreement with the U.S. Small Business Administration.
Welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. And Wednesdays this year, we've had the opportunity to have a lot of Artesia girls basketball players come in and visit with us. And now the head coach, which Hodling are you now?
I'm the other one.
You're the other one. Well, there's three of you, so.
Yeah, Jeff.
Jeff, no, I know that. Hey, thanks for having the players come in. We really enjoyed their visits this year, and the season is done. I know you didn't get a chance to get into the state basketball tournament, but all in all, pretty decent season for the Lady Bulldogs this year.
Yeah, I thought so. Considering a lot of circumstances and ups and downs of things that happened early in the season, but thanks for having the girls. I know they all initially don't enjoy coming, but once they get to it and once they do it, they all have good reflection on it, I think.
Good.
I think it's good for them to... Some of them are natural. They can come and talk to anybody, but some of them need to get out of their shell a little bit, and I think it's been really good for them to do that. So we appreciate you letting them come and get to visit with them a little bit, and I think it helps folks around town that, get to know our girls a little bit. That's one thing I can say about our team. We have such a good group, and year in and year out, we have good girls, but this year we have a really good, fine young ladies who smart, good athletes, good students, good kids. They're in a lot of activities. I tell our coaches, in fact, I told my coaching staff yesterday, we got the smartest, best kids in the school. Of course, I'm I'm probably biased, but
Yeah.
as I walk up and down the hallways every day, I see some kids that we would like to have out to basketball, no doubt, but at the same time, we got the good ones. And so I'm really proud of that. And we didn't make it to the state tournament this year, but I thought we played well and had a good season, and I was very proud of the way it turned out.
Pretty tough district, too. Portales, very good team this year, and Goddard is a decent team this year, so it's always difficult just to get through district.
It is, and that's one thing to be proud of, too, is the district we get to play in. And it's not just in girls basketball, year in and year out, it's every sport. I get to visit with a lot of the coaches around the school each day, and I know they feel the same way. I think potentially some years our district could be the top 3 or 4 seeds in the state in some of the sports, and so it is a good competitive district, and I think we would prefer it that way. I mean, I look around the state, and a couple of teams got in the tournament that, we beat everybody in the district except one team. So I'm kind of glad we don't play in a district that way. That's year in and year out not very tough. I mean, that's good for your record, and it's nice to win a bunch of games, but at the same time, it's more than just winning games. It's learning how to be disciplined and be tough, and having a good attitude and getting after it and being tenacious and gritty and all those things. And I like to think our district provides that for us in all the sports. We have such a good competitive district.
And then most of the girls on the team are going to go on to some spring sports. Some are going to play softball. Some are going to be on the track and field team. And so you've got a lot of 2- and 3-sport athletes that are on this team.
Yeah, we really do. And that's another one of the good things about Artesia sports. In fact, this morning we had a coaches breakfast. All the coaches in the district got together at the Bulldog Training Center and went over some stuff like that. We have 4 of those every year, every quarter. We have a coaches breakfast. Coach Henderson does a fine job with that, the AD, and bringing us together and talking about things like that and things how we can get better. But man, it's just a really high percentage of the kids in Artesia High School. We're well above the state average in terms of kids who participate in athletics and activities for that matter. And, girls basketball is no different. All the girls are leaving basketball to go to a spring sport. Just a couple to softball, most of them to track, but we have a really good group, and most of them came to basketball from either soccer or volleyball. Just 2 or 3 of them had been in off season, so a lot of benefits to that. Kids participating at a high level all season, learning how to compete year in across the course of the year, and there's a lot of positives for off season too. But I think we would prefer kids to be competing, whether it be in the fall or in the spring or whatever it is. But learning how to compete is probably the best thing we give kids in athletics, because you know as well as I do, when they get out of school, they got to go to work, man. They got to go to competing. So it's not all about winning ball games. We like to do that, no doubt, and that's the plan. But learning how to compete and be tough and all that kind of stuff is good for them.
How did the JV team do this year, and then your 8th grade? I guess it's 8th grade and those programs. How are those looking?
It's good. We had a great year. Our JV season was up and down, and generally it is. Some years it's better than others, but this year we just had such small numbers at the high school. We only ended up having 21 girls on the whole program from 10th grade up, and that's really unusual for us. We're pretty solid around 30 to 35 kids. So as a byproduct of that, a lot of kids had to play varsity and JV. The rule for basketball is they get 5 quarters a night, and so if there's 2 games, you can kind of split a lot of them. And we had to do that a lot. And so, but on the flip side of that, it was a great experience. A lot of our varsity kids are pretty young, so they got to get a lot of good JV experience on top of their varsity experience. And, I think that's going to help us down the road. As far as the junior high program's really good. We're really lucky to have such good junior high coaches down there. I've always heard and been to a lot of coaches clinics that say, your best coaches in your program need to be your freshman coaches because they set the table for your high school teams, your varsity teams. And for us in girls basketball, man, we have good quality coaches down there. I'll brag on them. Mark Williams is our freshman coach, and Haley Riggs. And, I'm fortunate to have both of those folks. Haley actually played for me. She graduated from Artesia, so she's a Bulldog, and She knows what it takes to be a good Bulldog coach. And, of course, Mark comes to us from Texas, but, man, played college basketball, coached a lot of other places. He probably has forgotten more basketball than I know. That's the kind of coach Mark is. He's just such a good guy and a good Christian man. Has a good influence on our girls, and really does a fine job with them. And they made it into the Border Conference tournament, and I think they lost in the semifinals to a really good Hobbs team who won the district or the Border Conference. But and then our 8th grade,
I think, played for the title. So.
Yeah, maybe it was the championship game. Yeah. So our 8th grade group, same. Played for the Border Conference Championship.
That was the one that played for the...
And really good team, too. Have a lot of potential there with those girls. And our head girls coach in the 8th grade is Casey Crandall, and Casey came to us from Hagerman. But he was the varsity coach of the girls in Hagerman, so I just can't imagine many high school coaches get a former varsity coach to coach for them on their junior high staff. He's so good, and he... probably the best thing that Casey does, he brings the element of toughness to our kids, and man, he really gets them playing hard and competing. And Chris Johnson is our 8th grade white team coach, and Chris is fantastic, and he probably has the most success of any of the programs in the whole, from top to bottom. I think our 8th grade white team over the last 4 or 5 years, probably like maybe 75-2. They just win and win and win, and he does a really good job with the kids, and they're so competitive. So, and even down at Zia, we had a good year. Our Zia coaches do a fine job, and I think probably one of the things as Artesia coaches we get to do that a lot of places don't, because I've talked to a lot of coaches around the state and in other places. Our lower levels, we have a great progression. There's a step 1 at the Zia level, and there's a step 2 at the 8th grade, and a step 3 at the 9th grade, and then at the high school we have the whole package. But as a byproduct of that, we're fortunate that when the kids get to us at the high school, it's more polishing than anything. We don't have to do a lot of reteaching, because they're teaching the fundamentals at the lower levels, and our offenses and our defenses. So by the time that they get to us, they hear the same words. They understand the concepts, and some years we have fantastic success, some years we don't. But either way, the kids know what we're doing, and they try hard, and they're dedicated. So great program, and I know that's across the board. Football does it that way, of course. Boys basketball and does it the same. So very lucky that way.
Yeah. What were some of the biggest improvements that you saw from your team this year?
Well, I mean, there was a lot of areas of improvements. If folks watched us play from late November to just here at the end of February, it was pretty obvious to see that confidence probably was the biggest thing. We came into the season, and day one of the season, pretty much day one was picture day. That's one of those days that most coaches hate. I'm no different. It's kind of a circus. But we had 10 seniors on the squad, and we had about 35 kids. And I thought, it's normal. It's about where we need to be. And first day of practice came about a week after that, and we were down to 4 seniors. So
wow.
A lot of kids chose not to play right at the last minute. There was no hard feelings or anything. And I understand, and they all came to me, and it wasn't like they didn't communicate and let me know what they were thinking. And a lot of them chose to go ahead and go to their spring sport and get an advantage there, which I was certainly happy to let them do that. But the dynamic of our team changed a lot. So we went from being a pretty experienced team to not being very experienced at all. So and confidence has a lot to do with that. And so early on in the season, we didn't have a lot of confidence. And, that was pretty evident, and we didn't win a lot of games early. But as the season progressed, we got into the middle of the season, we started hitting our stride, and I think there was a point where we won, 7 out of 9 games. We came along and started doing the things we needed to do, and became pretty competitive. And so, that set us up for a very competitive district season. And, of course, we didn't make it as far as we wanted to, but confidence probably was the biggest area of improvement. And, the fundamental skills came along, too. I had something interesting happen this season that I've never had happen in a season before. We had 3 different girls score over 30 points in a game. I've never had kids that could score like that. So that was very encouraging. Of course, one of them was a senior. We won't get her back. But the other 2, one of them was a sophomore and one of them was a junior. So it's pretty rare in a established program like we have here that you get the bulk of your scoring back, it's generally seniors, and that's the natural progression of a good program. Your best kids are your seniors. But again, we had a different dynamic this year with that. And so to have that kind of scoring potential on the offensive end coming back, man, that's pretty exciting. We're coaching staff, we've been talking about that for the last couple of days, and going to be interesting to see how that unfolds, for us in the future.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, what's the young lady's name in Portales? Maybe she finally graduates.
Yeah. Right.
There'll be some changes in all that. Now, I know football district changes just a little bit. Alamogordo moves up and Mayfield takes their spot. But as far as all the other sports like girls basketball, district makeup is going to be the same for the next couple of years as it has been?
It is. We're not having any changes, and I don't do as good a job as I should keeping up with all that every 2 years and looking forward to that. We just try to focus on the schedule and who's on there. But next year we're staying the same, and you touched on it, but the district was pretty senior loaded outside of us and Lovington. You got both Goddard and Portales. Of course, they got first and second in the district and both made it into the state tournament. Had a lot of good quality seniors, and those kids have been playing since they were freshmen. Mm-hmm. So a lot of familiar names there if folks keep up with basketball around here, and it's not breaking my heart that they're graduating. So great kids, and I know their coaches, and they speak so highly of their kids. Their kids are just like ours, they're smart, they're disciplined, they're hard workers, and come from good families. And so it'll be good for us if they graduate. Be tough for those programs, but again, the district year in and year out doesn't matter. If you have a lot of experience or not, we have a lot of good teams. And so I wouldn't say that Portales and Goddard are rebuilding. I'd say they're reloading. I just think that we're going to reload a little stronger than they are next year. And the same goes with Lovington. They really improved. We beat them 3 times, but the third time we played them, they got after us a little bit. I think we ended up beating them by 18 maybe, but the first 2 times we played them, I think the first time we beat them by 50, and then we beat them by 30, and then we only beat them by 18. So they're going to be tough next year too. Coach Scott does a good job with his kids. They were very young. They had 2 8th graders and a couple of freshmen. So year in and year out, our district's pretty good.
Yeah, it sure is. I know you've seen the bracket because you were looking to see if Artesia was going to be there, but Goddard got in as a 10, and they go to Moriarty on Friday night, and Portales got in as a number 4, and they will host Los Alamos. Kirtland Central got the number 1, Gallup the number 2. Any surprises there? Is that kind of what you had expected that it would turn out?
Yeah, it is. I put those guys at the top up there. I know they're extremely competitive. I'll just give folks an idea. Kirtland beat Gallup in the district there, and I was kind of surprised. I really thought Gallup would win the district, but Kirtland got them. But Gallup beat Hobbs, so that give people an idea how good they are. Yeah, Kirtland and Gallup are very good. But on the flip side of that, Portales beat Kirtland, so in early in the season. So the top half of the bracket, there's a lot of parity there. It's very competitive. I think if I had to predict, I'd say Gallup would probably win the whole thing. But tough field. Taos and Bernalillo are pretty solid this year, and I was kind of surprised Goddard didn't go a little higher. I thought they might have went a little higher, but I think they got to play Moriarty.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. And unfortunately, they've already played Moriarty twice this year, and so. But we've been down that road before. One year we had to play Roswell 5 times, twice in the playoffs. So,
well, look at the boys. They're playing
Lovington again. So
TJ covered the game last Friday, and he says after the game, he says, it's going to happen. He says we're going to be 8-9, and we're going to be back here next weekend. And I said, well, I hope you're not right. And
he was right.
He was right.
The way they do it now, the numbers don't lie. If you sit down, if you have the time and the dedication to hash out all those numbers, you can't. Anybody could do it. The seating and selection is not what it used to be. They used to send a representative from the district, and they met behind closed doors, and who knows what went on in there, and then they came out with a bracket. But now I think it's solely based on numbers, and you really can't argue with it. There's a little bit of leverage in the Max Preps thing, but it is what it is. So
I don't think the Max Preps has quite as many factors that they consider as what the NMAA criteria is.
No, there's not. But I mean, the formula Max Preps uses for their ranking is a little different. But yeah, NMAA just uses Max Preps rankings and that kind of stuff. So
yeah. Well, and coaches, I think, have a little bit of input on.
We do. Coaches poll was one criteria in there, but I mean, coaches are generally pretty honest and straightforward when it comes to that. I know sometimes there's a little gamesmanship. Some coaches might get together and say, hey, let's do this, but we generally don't try to do that. I mean, you know how teams are, and one good thing about us, we get to play around the state quite a bit, so we get a pretty good look. We saw some of those northern teams play, and I watch a lot of games. So I watched Gallup beat Hobbs. Gallup's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
you looking at any major changes in how you lay out the schedule for next year, or are you kind of happy with the tournaments and the trips that you took this year?
Yeah, we're making one change. The boys got into the Hope Christian tournament this year, and while Coach Vondragon was there, they extended an invitation for the girls to come as well, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna try to go to Hope Christian next year. So, in order to do that, we had to drop 3 games to pick up 3 games, and so we trimmed off the schedule a little bit. I say that, I guess the schedule's not in cement yet, but
right.
There was 3 teams that we decided probably not to try to play again next year, and instead go to that Hope tournament. So it's going to be good for us. We haven't went to a northern tournament. It's been a couple of years. We usually try to go north, Los Lunas or Aztec.
We've been in an Aztec tournament in the past, yeah.
And we haven't done that the last couple of years. Of course, the COVID restrictions hasn't allowed us for overnight stay much, but that's gone away. Yep. So next year we're going to go to Hope Christian, and that was a good tournament this year. Of course, Hope's in the tournament. Taos is in the tournament. I think one other team was in that tournament. So we'll get a good look, at potential teams, state tournament caliber teams, and we're going to be better next year. So it'll be a good tournament for us to kind of be a barometer of where we are in the state.
Sure. You coaching anything in the spring, or you done on the coaching side for this year?
No, I'm a track coach. I have been for the duration of my coaching experience, and initially I was not a big fan of track, but that was a long time ago. It's really grown on me. I really love it, and I coach the javelin.
Okay.
And probably one of the best things about it is I get to, a lot of the basketball kids come over and do javelin, so I get to stay in touch with a lot of the girls, and I get to coach the boys too, and we've been very competitive in the javelin. We've had more success coaching the javelin than we have had in basketball in terms of state championships. I've been able to coach, I think, 4 state champs now in the jav. So,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, we just have some good throwers. The kids are naturally good athletes, and we talk about that a lot even in basketball. But been a lot of fun, and got a track meet tomorrow. So I'm not going to make it to the first one, but the kids are already at it, and 2 of the basketball girls went to track practice yesterday and qualified for the track meet tomorrow. So,
yeah,
man, our kids just don't miss a beat. They pick up and go, and I'm excited about that.
Very good. Is there anything else you'd like to add or mention?
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, I want to say good luck to our boys. I know that's playing Levington is kind of a wish could have got a different spot, but even so, want to wish them good luck. Coach Vondragon does a good job with them, and their boys always support the girls, and we want to wish them the best, and I hope they continue on with their success. Our booster club, I got to say thanks to our booster club. Candace Greathouse was the girls booster club president this year, and just fantastic job. Her heart was in it, and she wanted the girls first in everything that we did, and she did such a good job with that. And of course, her daughter Kaylin was our one of our guards and wings, and she's graduating, so we'll miss them. And then, of course, you guys, want to thank you for all the support. Pretty unique that all our games are on the internet, and I know a lot of places probably think, well, we don't want our games out there. People can see us play, but that's the point. We want people to see us play, People are going to scout you one way or the other, and I just know that I've talked to a lot of people, and they're so impressed and are so happy that they get to see us play, And so even when we go to places like Santa Teresa or wherever it is, you guys are always following us, and we sure appreciate that. It makes our place pretty special. And, our administrators are the same. We want to thank those guys and for our facilities and things like that. So another pretty good year of girls basketball. Looking forward to next year. I think next year will be even better.
Very good. Coach Jeff Hodling with us on the Good Morning Artesia show. Thank you for coming in and having the players come in, and we'll see what happens with track now.
Yeah, excited.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right.
Let's take a break, see what else is going on. Don't go away, folks.
Now for the Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Sorello. Unofficial results are in, and it appears Roswell Mayor Dennis Kintai has lost his bid for re-election by a very slim margin. In the unofficial results, Timothy Jennings received 2,420 votes to Kintai's 2,363. Guy Malone and Ava Tellez finished a distant third and fourth. In the Roswell Ward 1 seat, Christina Arnold has defeated James Edwards, 56 to 44%. Ward 2, Juliana Halverson fended off two challengers in Margaret Rogers Kennard and Joseph Horn. And in Ward 3, Edward Heldenbrand defeated Judy Stubbs. In Ward 4, Robert Korn defeated four challengers. In Artesia, George Mullen has easily defeated Jeremy Kern for the District 2 council seat. Wade Nelson won the District 3 race, and Richard Townley easily won the District 4 seat. In the Artesia mayor's race, Jonathan Henry has fended off four challengers with 45% of the vote. And in Lovington races, Howard Roberts won the City Council District 3 seat. That was the only race there that was contested. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Now more than ever, you need to stay as healthy as possible. At Lowell's Pharmacy, we want to help by providing flu shots and COVID-19 vaccines. Now is the time to come into Lowell's Pharmacy for your flu shot. Employers can schedule with Lowell's to conduct a flu shot clinic at your place of business. And it's okay to get your flu shot and COVID-19 vaccination at the same time. You will have to register for your vaccine at nmvaccine.org. The key to staying healthy is exercise, eat nutritional foods, keep up your appointments with your doctor, and get the flu shot and COVID-19 vaccine at Lowell's Pharmacy, across from the hospital on North 13th in Artesia.
It's time for the Eddy County Sports Reports. You can feel it. The days are getting longer. The sun's staying out a little bit longer every day. It's time for baseball season. It's coming around the bend. Actually, it's gone around the bend for the Carlsbad Cavemen. They've already played 5 games. Carlsbad is 4-1. And then Friday, they'll be playing against Centennial starting at 6:30. This is how the season's gone so far for Carlsbad. They beat Mayfield back on February the 19th, lost at El Paso Americas. This was the tournament in El Paso, then beat El Paso schools Pebble Hills and Montwood. Artesia gets their season started tomorrow at 4:30 in Hobbs at the tournament there. They'll be playing Pewaukee Valley on Friday afternoon. They'll be taking on Santa Fe, and then the Bulldogs will finish the tournament against Cleveland Saturday. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at KSVP Radio AM 990.
A CNN host, Brian Stelter, known for his outlandish statements and opinions, has done it again. He's claiming on behalf of CNN and all television media that this war was bringing views back to, in his words, trusted and established news outlets. Maybe cable news is seeing an uptick in ratings, but look at what they're showing you. Social media, even on CNN, Fox, and MSNBC. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by CarShield. Hate expensive repairs? Get protected at carshield.com/Kim and save 10%. A deductible may apply. There is no question. The Ukraine invasion is a social media war, the world's first. Many of the television interviews are with Ukrainians who already have a social media following. Many war scenes and destructions are shot on smartphones by citizens. Everyday Twitter is filled with hundreds of small video clips shared directly to the world and bypassing all the big networks. Stelter has it backwards. The world is watching this war on social media. Get breaking tech news at Commando.com. I get questions from small business owners every day, and one of the big ones is how to find and hire the right people. It can be tough, but that's where LinkedIn Jobs comes in. They make it easier to find the people you want to talk to, faster and for free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Job to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience, and then use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified people. You can also use simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates worth interviewing faster. Did you know that every week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? And you can post your job for free right now at linkedin.com/Kim. That's linkedin.com/Kim Terms and conditions apply. That's linkedin.com/Kim.
All right, welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. I was just doing my pre-interview with Mr. Thad Phipps, who is our guest. Good morning, Thad.
Hey, good morning, Gene. How are you today?
Hey, it's a new day in Artesia with all the election results from yesterday, and now we can stop worrying about that and move on. So,
yes, sir. No, absolutely. We're want to congratulate all the folks that won, and we want to wish them well. You know, John Henry and Richard Townley and Wade Nelson, and of course Raul Rodriguez and George Mullins, just fine gentlemen and fine leaders, and of course we just had wonderful folks that were stepping up to the plate in the mayoral race, wanting to help lead our district, and we sure appreciate each one of them wanting to step into that role. And all of them are just quality individuals, and we're just so fortunate in Artesia that we have quality people that are willing to help lead and to help unify, you know, our community. So, you know, whether or not they won, I certainly want to give them kudos for wanting to do that, and we know that they're going to serve our community, continue to serve in the capacities that they are, and just bring a lot of value to our community. So even though some of them didn't win their races, we appreciate them too, and just looking forward to the team that was put together yesterday to help lead us going forward.
Absolutely. Got a note yesterday from the schools. You've got an early release day coming up and a parents meeting. You're needing the school districts need some input. I guess there's a suggestion coming down from the public education department regarding the number of education days in a school year. Why don't you kind of fill us in on all of that?
Yes, sir. This conversation started during the legislative session, and of course, you know, even the pre-legislative session. The LEFC, which is David Abbey and Charles Salee and all their fine people that work up there. They've done a lot of research on educational outcomes, and part of what they've come up with is that students in New Mexico should be going to school, should have a longer school year. And we'll get into a bunch of details of that in our meeting, but it's coming down from the LFC and their study, and then of course through the public education department, through Secretary Steinhaus, you know, in his memos to us, and in the beginning, Gene, it was going to be mandated in the initial language from the LFC that every district had to do this, that it was going to be mandatory, and I just appreciate Secretary Steinhaus advocating for a little bit more local control, and the language was changed, and now we have a choice of in each district whether or not we want to add those 10 days, and so that's the reason for the discussion. We appreciate Secretary Steinhaus, and we want to obtain the input from everybody in our community, and I appreciate them letting us have this discussion, and so that's what we want to do. There's no minds made up, Gene, about this, and we need to make a community decision. Everybody needs to think about it, chew on it, let's talk about it, and make a decision on what's best for our students, and just ask ourselves, you know, is adding 10 days going to bring value to our children's education in Artesia? What are those values? And if the answer is yes, then we can have a discussion about calendars and look at it. But we want to answer that question first. What is best for our students in Artesia? Is it adding 10 extra days? And what are those? What is that value that we're going to bring by doing that? And then we can talk about other discussions after that. And certainly our staff members are very eager to have this discussion, because they're going to be asked to work a few more days and the compensation for that. And so there's some moving parts, but again, we just want to focus for sure on our community decision on what is best for our children. And if that's what's best for our children, 10 extra days, then we'll talk about it at a school board meeting and consider it. But we want to invite everybody, Gene, everybody, whether you're a parent, a grandparent, an aunt, uncle, a business owner, it needs to be an Artesia community discussion. It needs to be an Artesia community decision. Everybody on our staff, everybody needs to come and have it. And so what we're going to do at 1 o'clock, we're going to have an early release. Grand Heights at 12:30, elementaries at 12:40, and then secondary school soon after that. We're going to begin our discussion in the Bulldog Training Center at our new facility with our secondary staff at 1 o'clock. And then at 2:15, our elementary staff is going to come in, and we're going to have a discussion with them. And then we want to invite our community at 6 o'clock, 301 Bulldog Boulevard, our big orange building, where the natatorium used to be, across from Bulldog Bowl. So the folks that don't live here, right across from Bulldog Bowl to your east, please come and listen to the presentation, and then we're going to have plenty of time to have a discussion. And everybody's going to get a chance to have a mic. Everybody's going to get a chance to have input, and we invite that, and that's what our community needs. We need to make this decision as a community. And so, again, just invite everybody out to do that, Gene.
And this will be on Monday, correct?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I probably didn't say that. It is going to be this coming Monday on the 7th.
Well, on the 7th, yeah. I think we kind of touched on it earlier, but we want to make clear that this is on Monday. Now, the note that I saw said there's an information kit or packet that may be available for parents as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for bringing that up. On Friday, we don't want people to come into the discussion and not already have the materials. Mm-hmm. And so on Friday, our administrative cabinet will be putting out a packet of information to our staff and to our community through our social media abilities. And so everybody will have the rationale for having this discussion, which I've kind of briefly explained already, kind of where this is coming from and why we're having the discussion. And then we'll provide 2 sample calendars, one with our current 178-day, and then just one option, 188-day calendar, because we don't want to get in the weeds on the calendar, Gene, right away.
Right.
If first we need to make a decision, is 10 days going to be valuable to our students? And then if we do, then we can talk about various calendars. But this first one kind of gives everybody an idea of what it might look like. Sure. And then for the staff members, certainly some salary examples of how this would affect them compensation-wise and what some extra, there's 80 hours of professional development that go along with the extra 10 days, and some after-school programs and things that we'll talk to our staff about a little later. But we want everybody to have this packet, Gene, so that they can kind of digest it over the weekend, discuss it amongst their families, discuss it amongst themselves, so that they're not just hearing it when we're first, presenting it on Monday, and then they're having to try to respond to it. We want to give them time to think about it and discuss it, and with their children. We want them to talk to their kids. Hey, this is something that the school district is bringing up as a discussion, and we want to get your input too. What do you think about it? Obviously, especially our older children. Mm-hmm. We want our juniors and seniors for their parents to talk to them about it and get their input, and that way that their voices can be heard too. And of course, our students are welcome to come on Monday night at 6. Yeah. And our older students and participate. We need to hear from them too. And so anyhow, there's no decisions being made right now, Gene. We really and genuinely want this to be a community decision. So.
Very good. So Monday is the early dismissal, and then the staff meetings are that afternoon, and then the public discussion and meeting is Monday evening at 6 o'clock at the Bulldog Training Center. So good. We've got a couple minutes left in the segment. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us this morning?
Yeah, I just want to congratulate our girls basketball team on a great season. I just got through listening to Coach Hotling, and of course he's always done a great job with our program. But congratulations, girls, on a wonderful season, and good luck to our boys, who will be competing against Lovington this Saturday night. And when we win, Gene, we're looking at either Highland or Mayamura. There's a 1 seed against a 16 seed, so we kind of all have an idea how that one might turn out. But we're looking forward to moving along, and we just got some real positive energy moving forward as we end this third 9 weeks. into our fourth 9 weeks. All of our teachers and instructional staff have just been doing a phenomenal job as we kind of move out of COVID and take the masks off and that sort of thing. There's just kind of a new energy, and we want to. Last week we had a chance to just, congratulate everybody or kind of celebrate, I guess, that we're out of this, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and everybody's just been, real persistent and tenacious, and we just appreciate all of our staff, all 465 of them and 475 of them, and then our community for all of their love and support that they give our students. And so just real happy about all that stuff, and certainly, Gene, all of our prayers across our nation for the Ukrainian people who are facing just such evil right now and such uncertainty. Just poor innocent women and children that are their lives are being taken, and they're we as a nation and NATO, as you know, I don't want to get into all the politics, and I appreciate all the sanctions, but boy, it's sure hard for us to just sit here and know that they're fighting that alone. I just pray for them and just ask that, as a community, as a nation, we continue to pray for the Ukrainian people and that God will, help deliver them from that. And so, anyhow, and we just appreciate you, Gene, and the opportunity to talk this morning.
Great. No, we're glad to do it, and we agree with you entirely. I hope most of the country, I know the folks around here all agree with you on the prayers for the people of Ukraine, and hope that something good happens as a result of all that. Very good. Well, Thad, thank you so much. I know you've got some more stuff in John Ross's office. You got to move out, help him get that thing cleaned out there.
Well, he's just a phenomenal leader for our children, and he's not going anywhere. I'm going to be calling him all the time to get his advice moving forward, and try to keep him as involved as we can, and sure appreciate him so much.
Yep, we do. So, all right, Thad, thank you so much for your time. I know you've got another meeting getting started here, and we'll see you again real soon. Probably see you at the game on Saturday.
Yes, sir. We'll see you there. Thank you so much, Gene.
Thank you. Thad Phipps, bye-bye. We're going to take a break and head to the news, see what's happening, Ukraine, State of the Union, all that other good stuff. Stay tuned.
First Afghanistan withdrawal did more than cost American lives. It betrayed our allies and emboldened our enemies.
And on Capitol Hill, a symbolic show of support for Ukraine.
The House is set to vote on a resolution sponsored by Representatives Greg Meeks, a Democrat of New York, and Michael McCall, a Republican of Texas, that asserts House support for Ukraine's sovereignty and a ceasefire. The bill reads, quote, "The House of Representatives stands steadfastly, staunchly, proudly, and fervently behind the Ukrainian people and their fight against the authoritarian Putin regime. The resolution is non-binding and does not actually do anything."
Correspondent Bernie Bennett. Ukraine says the Russians have killed more than 2,000 civilians in the past week. Price of crude oil shot past $110 per barrel this morning. Wall Street stocks higher. Right now, the Dow is up 328 points. The NASDAQ 74 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, I'm cute kid number 1. And I'm cute kid number 2. And we have been forced, you mean hired? We have been hired to tell you what direct lender FOMO is. So let's say you buy a new home, and maybe you use one of those big mortgage monsters. Or someone your realtor or friend recommends. And then a few months later, you hear us being forced, hired to tell you about our mortgage team's Direct Lender Advantage. And then you feel like you missed out, because you probably did miss out. And that is Direct Lender FOMO.
It's Ryan, and our mortgage team is an arm of a bigger company who is a direct lender, which means our company gets to use its own money and make its own decisions within its own walls. There's no middleman. This often allows us to get you a better rate on that new home mortgage, saving you monthly and lifelong money. We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Melville Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Ryan Brackett, NMLS number 65233. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
Police in New Zealand breaking up a protest against COVID vaccine mandates. Demonstrators spent several weeks camped outside of Parliament.
Protesters were seen throwing bricks and chairs at police, who pushed them back using riot shields and rubber bullets. Fires were also started at the protest camp, which has housed hundreds of demonstrators since early last month. Officers made arrests on Wednesday morning, vowing to keep going until the camp was cleared. They then moved in again, forcing remaining crowds to disperse. There were reports of more violence as protesters spilled onto the streets, with people urged to avoid the city centre. Wellington's railway station was also closed.
The BBC's Simon Atkinson. The number of new coronavirus cases reported worldwide dropped by 16% last week, marking a month-long decline in COVID infections. That according to figures from the World Health Organization. News and analysis, townhall.com. All those shiny new cars, the bottom of the ocean. This after a massive cargo ship on its way to the U.S. from Germany sank in the mid-Atlantic.
That's nearly 2 weeks after a fire broke out on board. The Felicity Ace sank about 250 miles off Portugal's Azores Islands as it was being towed. A salvage team had put out the fire. The ship was transporting new electric and non-electric vehicles. Suspicion on what started the fire has fallen on lithium batteries used in electric vehicles. But authorities have no firm evidence about the cause. A Portuguese Air Force helicopter evacuated the 22 crew members when the fire first broke out. John Scott reported.
Inflation is on fire across Europe, hitting a record high for the fourth month in a row. 5.8% annual rate in February. Once again on Wall Street this hour, the S&P is up 44 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I know what you're expecting to hear right now, the announcement of today's KSVIP. Well, I don't have a name for today, and I need your help. If you know someone who needs to be recognized for being a very special person, call right now, 746-2751. Ask for Tana and schedule a KSVIP. Your special someone will be recognized at this time all day long on their day, and they'll receive a flower courtesy of Lovebud Floral in Artesia. So call today and schedule your KSVIP.
Just too white and nerdy. Can't you see I'm white and nerdy? Look at me, I'm white and nerdy. I wanna roll with the gangsters. We're so far, they all think I'm too white and nerdy. I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. I'm just too white and nerdy. Really white and nerdy. My class there at MIT. Got skills, I'm a champion of D&D.
Hey, welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. And we're getting ready to roll through our hour number 2 of our March 2nd broadcast. So yeah, we're already into the third month of the year 2022. Here's a weird one. There's about 67 customers that were affected by a power outage this morning in Artesia, near and in and around McDonald's. I got a text from Sylvia over at McDonald's. They lost power right about 6 o'clock this morning. And according to the Excel information, 67 customers were impacted when I checked it earlier. They got the power back on about 25 minutes ago. Sylvia says they're back up and running at McDonald's. Everything is being cooked, and you can go back and get your breakfast there at McDonald's for about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. They didn't have any power over there at McDonald's, along with the folks right around there that didn't have power. And got a note here that apparently Line Patrol revealed melted Mylar balloons on the line. The line has been re-energized and restored to customers at 7:37 this morning. So it's great to get the Mylar balloons. It's fun to have them at your birthday parties and events. But it's not always best to just let those Mylar balloons go off out into the atmosphere, because in this particular case, some Mylar balloons wound up caught up in some power lines, and it caused a brief power outage for some folks here in town this morning. So keep an eye on them there Mylar balloons, and don't let them just loose flying around. So yeah, it's kind of crazy how all of that is going on. So but they're back up and running at McDonald's. So if you were a little flustered because you couldn't get your your sausage McMuffin with egg and your hash browns so you could dump a bunch of ketchup on it, and your big old coffee. They're back up. They've been up for about a half an hour now, and they're back to serving their customers there at the McDonald's. So a little bit of news information this morning, and glad that they are back up and running. Thanks to our guests we had in the 7 o'clock hour. We just finished chatting with Thad Phipps, and he is the incoming superintendent of schools. Be interesting to read the research on this. We got the note yesterday from Superintendent John Rossnow that this community conversation is going to be taking place on Monday. And basically there's a recommendation from the Public Education Department that in order to enhance and improve the quality of education in New Mexico, that we have more days of educational learning for the kiddos in schools in New Mexico. And unlike some of the other things that have happened at the state level, this was presented as an option for school districts. So school districts have the option as to whether or not they want to add these 10 days. And so the schools here, before they even get into specifics of how the calendar would look, they want to find out if you think it's a good idea to add those 10 days, if there's value to the educational process here in Artesia. So that's why the meeting is coming up on Monday. So Friday, be looking for the information packet, which is going to talk about, why it's suggested that we have the 10 extra days added to the school year, and get that information, review that information. If you don't get the packet or whatever, just contact the administration office on Friday. But those are going out Friday through their Remind app and other ways that parents have signed up to receive communications from the schools. And then once that's done, come to the meeting on Monday, and it'll be at the Bulldog Administration Building, and they'll have that all opened up. They can accommodate a lot of folks there, and they're just going to welcome comments from everybody: parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, stakeholders, businesses. If you have an interest in this and you've done some research on it and you have an opinion, whatever that opinion may be, they are going to be looking forward to hearing from you. So that's going to be coming up on Monday. So if you have time, if you feel like you can make it to that, that's going to be coming up on Monday. And again, just at the bottom line, if you got kids in schools, early dismissal on Monday, so all the kids are going to be let out of school a little bit early on that. We briefly touched on the basketball coming up. The tournament, the state tournament. Boys are in. The girls, unfortunately, did not make the state 4A basketball tournament this year. And for the boys, the first round game, the round of 16, they call it, will be on Saturday for the boys, Friday for the girls. So the Artesia boys are in it, and they are hosting the Lovington Wildcats. That game is at 6 o'clock on Saturday night at the Bulldog Pit. No passes. You'll have to go online to buy your tickets. I don't think the ticket sales have gone hot just yet. We checked the website this morning, both the NMAA version and the Artesia version, and it's gofan.co. Tickets have just popped up for Raton at Robertson and Dexter at Robertson. So more of these are going to be added, I'm sure, throughout the day today. So if you have the GoFan app on your phone, you can search for NMAA or Artesia. If you go to the website, if you're going to buy them from a desktop or laptop computer, it's gofan.co/app/school/NMAA. And if you don't, we'll have that for you if you need it. But that's how you're going to get your tickets. They're not available other than through the online purchasing. Goddard made it in as well. The Goddard boys are at Albuquerque Academy on Saturday. That game is at 5 o'clock. For the 4A girls, the Goddard girls got in, as well as the Portales girls, but we cover Goddard. Goddard, number 10 in the girls, they'll be at Moriarty Friday night at 6. Moriarty, the number 7 seed. And we're going to have radio coverage. We weren't able to get video rights for those games, the Goddard games, so we're having radio. Old Scott Galetti's going to help us out, come down from the mountaintop there in Albuquerque. And he'll be in Moriarty Friday night. He'll be in Albuquerque at the Academy on Saturday night, and you can listen to them on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. We got his computer all checked out. We got his software all checked out. He is good to go and looking forward to doing those games for us, and so we appreciate Scott helping us out. And then, of course, the Artesia game on Saturday night, we did get the video rights for that, so we'll have radio and TV coverage if you can't make it for free. And it'll be KSVPTV.com. Click on the Bulldog channel. I'll put it up on the Good Morning Artesia channel so that it'll appear on the KSVPRadio.com website. It'll be the video that pops up after the Friday morning show. And, of course, we'll have it here on the radio, 990 AM, 93.7 FM. Joby and Robbie will be there, and looking forward to that production. There's also some baseball this weekend. You've heard Eric Butler mention it. You've probably heard Sean's announcement. Joby and I are going to be going to Hobbs again over the next 3 days. We went to Hobbs for the basketball tournament. We're going to Hobbs for the baseball tournament. So it's the Black Gold Classic, I think they're calling it. I had it here. Did I lose the sheet already? Anyway, it's not a bracketed tournament. It's a round robin tournament. And what did I do with it? I guess I have put it in another place on my desk. Anyway, they play their first game on on Thursday afternoon. They're going to be over there at. They're going to be playing tomorrow afternoon at 4:30 p.m. They're going to be playing Pewaukee. It's called the Black Gold Slugfest. Then on Friday, the game is set for 2:30, and it'll be against Santa Fe. And then on Saturday, the game is at 10 in the morning, and it'll be against Cleveland. So those are set times, set opponents for those 3 games on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And we'll have radio, and we're going to try to get our camera to work and have TV coverage from Hobbs America on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then Joby and I will get back into town and jump on the old vehicle, get the equipment over to the Bulldog Pit, and then we will be there for a broadcast of the basketball game on Saturday night. Busy weekend for us. All right, let's take a look at our weather forecast. Steve-O, what do you got for us today?
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Our fair trend continues over the next couple of days, and pretty mild. Will be around 70 to 75 today, and plenty of sunshine and not too windy. It'll be clear for the overnight hours, mid-30s, and then we're in the mid-70s with more clouds coming in on Thursday as low pressure starts to move into our area, and a little more gusty, low 80s and sunny Friday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
All right, Steve-O, thank you very much. We've got, that's the calendar app. I don't need that. I need the weather app. Right now, mostly sunny, 42 degrees here in Artesia. Humidity at 28%. Dew point is 11 degrees. Winds are northerly at 9. Pressure 30.22 and rising. Air quality is good. We have 48 for the air quality. Sun will set at 5:55 this afternoon, rise at 6:22 in the morning, and should be a very pleasant day today. Actually, a very pleasant weekend for the next few days, so we're looking forward to that. All right, we're going to take a break, and our next guest, I got to figure out what I'm going to call him today, so it's coming up next here on Good Morning Artesia.
The NMAA State Basketball Tournament is really heating up, and in southeastern New Mexico, we've got you covered. Coming up on Friday, your 10-seed Goddard Lady Rockets face off against 7-seed Moriarty with radio-only coverage beginning at 6 p.m. on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Then on Saturday, the 12-seed Rocket Boys take on the 5-seed Albuquerque Academy with radio-only coverage beginning at 5 p.m. on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, southeastern New Mexico's Sports Authority.
Please pardon our dust as we move into our new facility at Artesia Animal Clinic. We've begun the process of moving into our new facility, which features more exam rooms, expanded surgery and treatment rooms, lab, x-ray, and larger kennels. We're so excited to be moving into our new facility, and we look forward to being better able to help care for your pets. Artesia Animal Clinic, now moving into our new clinic in the same location, 110 West Mahone, just north of Artesia Ford Sales.
It's the big grocery savings sale at Finn's Country Market in Artesia. Tender crust sandwich wheat bread, $1.28 a loaf. Food Club macaroni and cheese dinners, 7.25 ounces, 4 for $1. Food Club peanut butter, creamy or crunchy, 28 ounces, $2.48 each. And White Cloud bathroom tissue, 12 mega rolls, $8.88 each at Finn's Country Market in Artesia. And right now, Coca-Cola, all flavors, 2-liter bottle, 4 for $5 at Finn's Country Market in Artesia.
When I was young, I thought I had forever to prepare for retirement. But as the years went by, retirement got closer and closer. Well, I wish I'd have started saving 10 years earlier.
How you spend your retirement depends on what you do now while you're still working. We've helped a lot of area seniors prepare for retirement. Stop in and see us about saving for yours. Western Bank of Artesia. We're big on you. Member FDIC.
West is the recovery resource for your small business. Tap into the Hobbs Business Center for services including consulting, training, loans, and much more. Visit WESST.org to learn more. Funded in part through a cooperative agreement with the U.S. Small Business Administration.
Welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia and radio show with pictures. And joining us now is County Commissioner John Henry.
Yes, sir.
Mayor-elect John Henry.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. So
yeah, not as close as the Roswell mayor's race.
Yeah, what you were just telling me about, my dad kept asking about it, and I didn't pay much attention to it, but yeah, it sounds like it's a very close race over there.
Yeah. So how are you going to do all this now? Because you're going to stay on the county commission, right?
Right, yeah.
And now you got the mayor's role starting, I guess, 1st of April or somewhere around there. So
yeah.
For at least 2 years.
For at least, yeah. There's an overlap of about 2 years and 2 months. So, 2 years and 10 months. So yeah, we'll have a pretty good overlap. A lot of folks asked that question during the whole thing, and really, especially with the redistricting, my commission district is all of Artesia now. So, we're already working hard for Artesia as is. This just, someone said, well, why are you want to do this? Well, that's because we can get in and hopefully the changes we presented during our campaign, hopefully we'll work towards those and we have a better way to affect that. So the overlap is really good, I think, and makes Artesia stronger, makes Eddy County stronger. I mean, it works both ways.
Sure, and then there'll be 2 new city councilors.
Right.
Wade Nelson in District 3 and Dickie Townley in District 4.
Right.
Raul and George re-elected. They of course, Raul had a little easier time of it.
His campaign was tough. Yeah. He just had to get one. That's how my last commission campaign was, and those are a lot more fun.
Yeah.
So they're a lot less stressful.
Well, I looked the Secretary of State's, I think there are about 26 municipal races or municipalities that had elections across the state yesterday.
Right.
And in one of them, I was just kind of looking at the ones from the area, it may have been in Lovington. There was a candidate on the ballot and a write-in candidate, and the write-in candidate got 0 votes.
Really?
So the write-in candidate didn't even
vote for yourself.
Right.
Come on.
Well, that was a little unusual.
Usually you can't count on one.
Exactly.
So
not everybody likes the other person. I mean, you would like to be liked universally, but
right. Sure.
I don't like that sucker. I'm going to vote for the other guy. That didn't even happen.
Yeah.
So it's
dang it.
Just kind of crazy.
That makes for a tough night. So
that's right. So now on the county level, and something else that was interesting too in the municipal election yesterday in Artesia, there were 2 precincts. that didn't get moved after the city redistricting. And as it was explained to me, the city passed it, then it went to the county, then the county sends it to the Secretary of State, then the Secretary of State sends the info back to the county and then sends it back to the city so they can run the election. And in all of that process, nobody picked up those two precincts.
Right.
And so then, could you get a provisional ballot? Well, no, you don't get a provisional ballot, but you can get a corrected ballot. And so it just kind of crazy. And I was standing in line to vote yesterday, and one of the people affected by that precinct thing, had to go through and making sure they got the right ballot.
Right.
And then he was walking around to everybody that was in line. Make sure your ballot's right. Make sure your ballot's right. Make sure your ballot's right. So I guess it affected a few folks.
I had heard there was a lot going on with that. And I heard there were some rejected ballots and they didn't know why. And so I assumed it would be a while before we knew because of everything going on.
Right.
And I'm sure they did a great job in getting it correct. So just give them time and let them do it. But it sounded like they had to work a little extra hard. So elections are hard already, getting it all done. And then when you have little hiccups, it makes it even more. So
right.
I think sounds like they did a great job, and we appreciate all the work. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, county met yesterday.
Yes,
you guys
we
went ahead
did.
and had a meeting anyway.
We went ahead and had a meeting anyway. So, and it was a really good meeting. I was really lots of good information. When we went over our budget versus actual and our revenue reports and things like that, obviously we've talked a few times. Our revenues look great, right? Because obviously oil and gas is the barrel price is going up. It was well over $100 yesterday. And so one of the questions I asked is, what does that mean? I mean, obviously it means more revenue. I understand that, but are we going to see it drastically drop? What's going to happen with the war in Ukraine, all this stuff going on? And it was really interesting. Al is such a wealth of knowledge. We're so lucky to have him because he can sit there and he's forgot more about oil and gas than us on the commission ever knew about oil and gas. He's just really good at it. But some of the stuff that he was telling us, and I wrote it down, it was interesting. So in 2021, there were 1,500 wells drilled in New Mexico. And 39% of those were in Eddy County, and the rest, the majority of the rest were over in Lee County. So, we have, obviously, which we already knew, the bulk of the wells being drilled down here. That seemed like a really good year. Rig count for New Mexico is up to 95, so that's a lot better. Obviously, the Texas side of the Permian is rig counting much higher and moving quicker. But it looks good for us with the wells and everything else. And so that just means more volume coming in and 102 or 107 or wherever it's going to end up. I mean, we've got a lot of oil moving through here. So it's going to really look good. Obviously, it really hurts. That $100 barrel is good for nobody.
If you're buying, if you're the end user,
people are, you're at $3-4 for gas. That becomes a little rough. So obviously we'd rather see it, even though it's bringing in revenues for certain industries and everything. Even I think they would like to see it in those 70s. So
as
it
one
makes it a
who
little more
has
stable.
a diesel truck,
oh yeah,
$4 a gallon for that stuff right now. That's I expect. White tablecloth. I expect a waiter to bring, the nozzle to me. I'd like to smell the selection before we pick the one to go into the truck.
Right? That's exactly right. So, no, I remember last time gas was real high. I had a diesel, and that was one of my major thoughts of, well, I don't really need a trailer anymore. Let's do gas. And then sure enough, everything corrected. But I like my new truck, so I'm okay. But
well, what's interesting in your discussion, the rig count is up, the barrel price is up. We went through here a couple of years ago when some other guy was president.
Right.
And we were producing oil. And we seemed to have a lot of oil, and we were selling it to other countries, and the price of oil was low.
Right.
Now we've got the rig count up, we're drilling oil, but the oil price is high, and it seems like we don't have any oil, or we're still buying it from the Russians as of
4.5 million barrels a day we buy from Russia.
We're still buying from the Russians. Was there any insight as to what what the difference is? If the rig counts are similar, why is the price so high now versus what it was before? And does that lead to any speculation as to what might happen in the future if something changes in Washington?
We didn't go into deep discussion on that. I think we all kind of have the same general feeling of, when you have an administration, both state and federally, that are trying to slow down production of oil and gas. Like you said, we were sending it everywhere. Now we're not. Now we're buying it. We can produce it right here. And another interesting fact, Al was with a group discussion with some of the major players out there, and one of the studies they did shows the Permian Basin is one of the most environmentally friendly environments to drill oil. So our footprint is much smaller just because of the location and how everything comes up. And he would be able to speak much more intelligently, or anyone in the oil field, but it's a much more cleaner environment. So I think the point that both administrations need to see, ours and theirs, because if you think, Eddy County is very much controlled by state lands and federal lands, so we have to deal with them to get things accomplished. And if they would free that up a little bit, if you're worried about climate, which we all are, well, this is a pretty good environment to drill in because it's already just by location, for whatever reason, is better.
Right.
And then we're taking major players off the market, right? If Russia's not producing as much, well, that's their economy is oil and vodka, right? Mm-hmm. Now vodka's hurt because nobody's buying it, and now oil's hurt because you can't get the monies back and forth and everything else. So if you just take that oil from them, all of a sudden they don't have the money to do this kind of nonsense. And plus ours is no matter where you drill in the United States, it's a much more environmentally friendly than a lot of these other countries that they just don't care. They want the money, so hopefully. And you say this, and I think in the back of your mind, it's not going to, but you would hope that they would come to and go, oh, well, this makes sense. We should produce it and look at how much safer the world would be and how much cleaner the world would be. But I don't see that happening, unfortunately. You just look at the players up there, and I think the common sense left the building like a long time ago. Yeah, and that's unfortunate. Yeah, it really is.
But as far as a county trying to plan budgets,
yes,
you see it up. You see the price up there so high. I'm sure there's a somewhat of a in the back of the mind. Well, maybe we ought to target a little higher number, or what? So what's kind of the thought of the commission right now? Is kind of keep everything where it is, or are you looking at estimating at a little higher number?
Right. Well, we're right in the middle of our new budget. So, Roberta and them are working hard to put it. I think they're going to, still stay somewhat conservative. I think we're going to not hopefully see what we saw, a little over a year ago with those kind of prices. But, we don't want to budget for those hundreds because I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think it's there. I also think, the oil investors that are looking where they're going to drill, they're going to look heavier in Texas. That just is what it is right now because it's so hard to sometimes get things done. So all that has to be taken into consideration. We can't just say, oh, it's $100. Everybody's going to just go nuts. I don't know that that's going to happen. Hopefully it happens at the same pace or a little better, obviously, for everyone in town. But I don't see that. So I think we'll still be somewhat conservative, probably not as conservative as we have been, putting it at a $50 barrel price or something like that.
So are there some projects, are there some things that have been, for lack of a better word, furloughed or deferred?
Right.
That now that there is this extra revenue and there is this extra reserve available, are there some highway projects or some, the county jail, some of these other things that the commission's been talking about over the last couple of years? Is that starting to work its way into the budget consideration process?
I think that's going to be a strong topic. As far as roads go, we've put a lot of money towards roads. Anytime that we have an overage we push it into the roads department. I'm sure we'll continue to see that. That's been a major priority for this commission. But there are a couple major projects out there that we haven't necessarily put off. We just have to get them started, and now they're coming to a point where it's probably time to really get them started. So it kind of worked, thank goodness, the way it should. So yes, I think there's going to be some strong talks on a couple major projects that the county's going to have to undertake at some point. We might as well get them started and get rolling on some of them.
Now, the jail's one of those, right? Or what to do with the jail?
Yeah, I think the jail's going to be a big discussion, mainly because it's landlocked, number one. And obviously our county's growing. Lots of things are happening. So we've got to figure out, what do we do there? What do we do? You saw a couple meetings ago, I think you and I discussed it, the courthouse. What do you do there? There's a couple repairs, some fixes, so what do we do to make it great? Because we want to make sure that we have the best facilities that we can possibly have, and now's the time that hopefully maybe we can tackle some of those. We'll just have to take a look, but
okay.
I would love to see that. I mean, as one commissioner, I think those are the things you hear the most of. So
right. The roads, the jail, and then the courthouse itself.
And then the county building itself. I mean, there's some repairs that we really have to look at there to start making sure it's correct. There's always plenty of projects, so we just got to check them off and get rolling. And the good thing is, I think we have a good priority list, and we've known where we're headed. And now things are just kind of falling into place to where maybe we can ramp those up somewhat.
Start doing that. All right, we're going to take a break here for just a moment, folks. We've got County Commissioner John Henry with us today.
Yes, sir.
And we'll be back on the other side of the news.
Now for the Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Sorello. Unofficial results are in, and it appears Roswell Mayor Dennis Kintai has lost his bid for re-election by a very slim margin. In the unofficial results, Timothy Jennings received 2,420 votes to Kintai's 2,363. Guy Malone and Ava Tellez finished a distant third and fourth. In the Roswell Ward 1 seat, Christina Arnold has defeated James Edwards, 56 to 44%. Ward 2, Juliana Halverson fended off two challengers in Margaret Rogers Kennard and Joseph Horn. And in Ward 3, Edward Heldenbrand defeated Judy Stubbs. In Ward 4, Robert Korn defeated four challengers. In Artesia, George Mullen has easily defeated Jeremy Kern for the District 2 council seat. Wade Nelson won the District 3 race, and Richard Townley easily won the District 4 seat. In the Artesia mayor's race, Jonathan Henry has fended off four challengers with 45% of the vote. And in Lovington races, Howard Roberts won the City Council District 3 seat. That was the only race there that was contested. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Hey New Mexico, experiencing issues keeping your office technology up to date with these crazy supply chain issues? Well, DSI is here to help. We've diversified our products and solutions to help your business not just survive, but thrive in any situation. Have your teams collaborate and share with high-def video walls and interactive smart panels. With free unlimited support, the fear of any new technology is a thing of the past. Contact DSI today to upgrade your workspace. www.dsinm.com.